Hello, my name is Jared Krantz Miller, and I am here to debate the affirmative side of a flat tax rate being implemented in America. Currently, America is split between classes almost as we were in the Civil War between races. This took 250 years to solve. Perhaps a flat tax rate will take 300. Fairness is a key issue to many of us here in America, yet not when it involves paying more money towards the government. A flat tax rate has been proven to be beneficial to the countries in which it has been implemented, such as Lithuania and the city of Hong Kong in China. In 2011 and 2012, many protests occurred, such as Occupy Wall Street, which were primarily geared towards the rich paying less in taxes than many other Americans who make much less money than them. A flat tax rate could help solve this problem, with everyone paying the same amount, regardless of money income. According to the Huffington Post, the top 2% of Americans pay over 38% of income taxes gained by the federal government. How does this allow our richest to create jobs and expand their businesses?
Okay. So, do you believe that all people in this situation need every dollar that they have?
No, many people are using luxury items. However, it is what they've earned in life.
And then, aren't there some people in America who can barely survive on their current tax rate?
Many Americans like this don't actually have to pay taxes at all and receive welfare programs from the government, which actually gives them money.
So, but if there was a flat taxes, then these Americans would have to pay taxes, and then they would be less capable to survive. So, hello, my name is Charlie Neufeld, and I'm speaking for the negative. I'm very glad to have the pleasure of debating against a flat tax rate. Now, a flat tax rate is a system that imposes the same rate of taxation on all taxpayers. Now, I intend to prove that a flat tax rate is bad for the people of any country, especially America. Now, equal taxes will have a different effect on different people depending on their assets, income, job stability, expenses, etc. For instance, the poor in our country, say they make $10,000, if there was a flat taxes of 20%, they would have to pay $2,000, which leaves them with $8,000 left over to survive. Whereas a more wealthy person who makes $1 million a year would only have to pay $200,000, but they would keep $800,000 for themselves. Now, do $800,000 and $8,000 both sound like you could live off of them well? And in addition, the government, which is already in debt, they could be losing money or crippling America if they took a flat tax rate. Because at a current rate, taxes range from 10 to 50%. And everyone couldn't pay 10% or else the government would lose a lot of money. And everyone can't pay 50% because not everyone can survive on that amount of money. So you have to either cripple the poor or you have to give a crutch to the wealthy to stand on, which they wouldn't even need because they can already stand on their 2 feet with their current tax rate.
Would you say that you believe in equality?
Equality is not necessarily a good thing.
Is the U.S. economy in a good state right now?
The U.S. economy has never been in a good state.
Well, after 300 years of unequal taxes that have been proven to favor the lower class, shouldn't we try something else if you say that the U.S. economy has never been in a good state?
But if the lower class is what we're trying to help, a flat taxes wouldn't help them, and that would just continue to hurt them more.
Low and middle income Americans complain about the rich paying too little in taxes, when in fact, low-income families actually receive welfare and other assistance programs from the government. Aren't they getting enough support as it is? The wealthy built their own income by being skillful, intelligent risk takers. Why should they be looked down upon for this and taxed more heavily? By having bracketed tax rates, only the rich are being punished, while the lower incomes are, in a way, being rewarded with lower dollar amounts being paid to the government. Lithuania was the third country to ever implement a flat tax rate. Their current GDP is 70% higher than the world average. Their economy is stronger and more stable than that of neighbors, such as Russia. Hong Kong has the world's fastest growing economy. Those living in the city are taxed very lightly, and if so, always a flat rate. Hungary introduced a flat tax in 2011 and currently has a GDP growth of roughly 3% each year. 13% of their population are below the poverty line, whereas 15% are in the U.S.
Well, for a flat tax rate to be implemented, the nation would have to be hurting 46.2 million Americans who are currently below the poverty line, which is at $23,000 per year for a family of 4. That means 1 out of every 6 Americans is poor. And with this, our current state, the median household income in America is just over $50,000. Higher taxes would affect these lower income families more than they currently do. In addition, it would negate loopholes, which promote charities and home ownership, which are 2 very important things in this country. And so to promote flat tax rate, would be to promote the rich and wealthy of our nation over the hardworking middle and lower classes, who currently are already being crippled by the tax rate. So they would just be hurt and and the government would just be kicking them when they're down to have to pay these larger taxes. And it would also just be destroying the current charities in this nation.
People like Bill Gates built their fortune alone without government assistance, so why should he now have to pay the government the majority of his money, when in fact most of it actually goes to charity? Lower classes complain of unfairness towards them, though they receive many government-funded programs, which are paid for by the higher classes. Countries that have flat tax rates have some of the strongest world governments and highest GDP growth rates per year. This is proof that a flat tax rate, as opposed to a marginal one, is beneficial to both job growth and economic success.